So my name is Euan Martin and I'm the operations manager at Braeburn Whisky. So I'm involved in looking after clients' casks, assisting them and advising them on what they can do to add value to their whisky or how to manage their portfolio. So we offer a range of services at Braeburn from the operations side of things. So we can offer casks sampling to clients, whereby a sample is simply drawn from the cask. Clients can use that to either just to assess how the cask is maturing, what the flavour of the whisky is, or they can do that if they wish to maybe look at re-racking the cask, so they can get an idea of what the spirit's doing at the moment, and then what we can do to maybe add value or to add different flavours and colours to the whisky. So re-racking is simply the process of emptying a cask of whisky and filling the liquid into another cask, primarily to gain the benefits in flavour and aromas and colour of the previous contents of that cask, whether that be red wine, sherry, port. So depending on what cask you re-rack your whisky into, it can add value based on the demand, such as at the moment there's a high demand for sherry finished whiskies. It also adds value in terms of adding new flavours and colour to the spirit. So if you re-rack whisky into a sherry cask, it depends really on the type of sherry cask you're re-racking into. So you would typically expect sherry casks or casks that previously contained bourbon or Pedro Jimenez would add flavours such as dried fruits, richness, things like coffee, chocolate. It will also add a darker colour on some occasions, which would improve the value of the cask. So we offer a range of different casks to clients. Typically we would be looking at things like red wine casks, which can offer things like red berry notes, plum notes, even chocolatey notes, coffee notes, depending on the type of red wine that was previously matured in the cask. We can also offer things like white wine casks, such as ex-Chardonnay casks. They would typically offer kind of more citrusy notes like pineapple, fresh fruit. We can also offer casks like ex-tequila casks, which would offer that kind of light, citrusy freshness that you would expect from tequila. We can also offer things such as port casks, ex-Madeira casks, which would offer that real caramel, syrupy sweetness that you would expect from spirits such as Marsala or port. So it's crucially important that you manage your cask well and you look after it. Obviously the whisky within the cask will evaporate over time, so we would recommend that you look to re-gauge your cask fairly regularly, say perhaps every 3 to 4 years, and then within shorter intervals with older whisky. That's just so that we're aware of the volume of the alcohol and the total liquid within the cask, and also the ABV, especially as the whisky matures and gets older. The evaporation rate increases as the amount of liquid within the cask falls. So that can lead to increased drops in ABV, so you want to make sure that you're managing that carefully as the liquid drops down to 40% ABV. We do specialise in giving that extra service to clients. We're happy to organise samples and re-gauges for clients in terms of managing the cask, doing a health check on the cask, and also just to sample the contents of the cask so they're aware of how the whisky is maturing within the cask, and any suggestions that we can make for things they might want to do if they're looking for different flavour profiles, different aromas, maybe to add colour to the spirit. We use multiple different warehousing sites across Scotland. So typically the 3 main types of warehousing that you would see for whisky casks in Scotland would be dunnage warehousing, such as this warehouse that we're in just now, which is the traditional style of warehousing. It's less efficient because you can't fit as many casks in, but the casks are more separated on racks. There are less of them in the warehouse, so there's better airflow throughout the warehouse, which helps promote maturation. There are also exposed earth floors within the warehouse, which helps create a humid atmosphere, which is kind of ideal environment for casks to mature in. Another type of whisky maturation warehouse we commonly come across would be a racked warehouse, where the casks are stored on steel racking. So this is a sort of happy medium in between the first type dunnage and the third type palletized, which I'll talk about. So the casks are still easily accessible in a racked warehouse, but there is more efficiency in that you can store more casks within that warehouse itself. And the final and third type is a palletized warehouse. So a palletized warehouse is a warehouse in which casks are stored, typically 4 to 6 casks on a pallet, and they would usually be stored 6, 7 or 8 pallets high. This is the most efficient way of storing casks of whisky because you can fit as many casks as possible within a warehousing space. This is typically best for maturing new make spirit, where it's left to its own devices to mature for maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years before it's accessed. So the efficiencies are great because you can just fit as many casks as possible within the warehouse. Yeah, so I'm happy to speak to clients and advise them. I'm happy to prepare tasting notes for clients and talk to them about the whisky within their casks and where best I think they can proceed with that.